In the world of anime, only a seldom few have shown us what it truly means to be the strongest. With monsters, aliens, and gods across different universes are set as the pinnacle of strength in their stories. But this man, he's just like us. He's only human. With Saitama having enough power to defeat any adversary he faced with a single punch. With there being multiple variations with each one's strength surpassing the last. But with everything we have, with everything on the table, how strong is the One Punch Man? In the beginning of One Punch Man, we're introduced to an ordinary man named Saitama who decided one day that he would pursue his childhood dream of becoming a hero that could defeat any opponent with ease. Who would have known that this dream would have changed his life forever? As after completing 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a 10-kilometer run every single day for 3 years, the limits placed on him by God were broken. With a limiter being a theoretical barrier that restricts the physical growth and strength, as God made a limiter for every single being to prevent them from losing purpose. Everyone eventually reaches this upper limit where they're unable to develop any more strength no matter how hard they try. However, Saitama broke through this limiter, which results in the development of immeasurable strength, as his dream has come true, as he now can defeat any opponent he wishes with a single punch. As Saitama, even from the beginning, was able to one-shot the world's strongest man, who with one swipe of his hand can decimate entire cities. With Vaccine Man, who's able to shoot energy blasts can vaporize them. With Murata confirming that these energy balls are the same ones fired by Homeless Emperor, who teaming up with Black Sperm can defeat Tatsumaki, who can obliterate continents. And with a single punch, can kill Deep Sea King and change the weather. But amidst the stars, another being seeks a true challenge, having grown bored of weak opponents. Boros, an alien from space known as the Dominator of the universe, sets his sights on Earth, targeting one man, the man to fulfill the prophecy. As Saitama is seemingly shown being able to resist the weight of a black hole that not even light can escape. Assuming the gravitational pull of Garou ability is comparable to a stellar mass black hole, Saitama would be resisting gravity billions of times stronger than Earth and would have strength exceeding any natural force in the entire universe. As Boros and Saitama now stand face to face, now it's time to see who's truly the strongest. As Boros comments on Saitama's power, saying that he senses no bottom to his strength. Saitama at this point of the series has defeated every monster with a single normal punch. However, Boros is different. Saitama punches Boros, but he's able to survive, shattering Boros' armor that was limiting his immense power. Okay. Boros' strength continues to rise as he transforms and attacks Saitama, seemingly doing no damage, but the light show is pretty cool, as Boros' species able to regenerate themselves even from a pool of blood, which came in pretty handy as Saitama's consecutive normal punches completely obliterated his body. Boros kicks Saitama to the moon, and Saitama performs his best feat so far, as he's able to jump from the moon back to Earth, which will require him moving about 299,792 kilometers per second, or the speed of light. Boros decides that it's time to finish this, and Saitama could not agree more. Boros charges up his most powerful attack called the Collapsing Star Roaring Cannon, which is stated in the guides can obliterate planets or even entire stars, as Saitama finally shows us a glimpse of his strength as he uses a serious punch. With the shockwave of this punch being so devastating that it can eviscerate Boros' attack and still have enough residual energy to split the Earth's atmosphere, which exceeds the energy of the Tsar Bomba, which is the largest nuclear bomb ever detonated in human history. As Boros states that Saitama was still holding back, and now Saitama is once again alone in this universe as the strongest. But in the world of One Punch Man, monsters are born from the darkness of people's desires. With the more obsessed you are with reaching a goal, the stronger you become. With monster cells being consumed by humans, enhancing their abilities, amplifying their negative emotions and desires, and this directly translates to strength. With Garou being a human that sees monsters as beings that strive to fight to the end, and with monsters being defeated by heroes, he's going to change that. With Garou getting more powerful as the series progresses, as he actually is going up the monster rank at an extremely high rate. This is due to his extreme mastery of martial arts, as it was stated in guidebooks that he possesses a natural sense of hand-to-hand combat and superhuman learning abilities. This is extremely impressive, as Bang in his prime was stated to be blessed with martial arts talent, and this blessed fighter dedicated several decades to training his water stream rock smashing fist, which Garou was able to master this technique at only 18 years old. But being a monster won't get you anywhere, as there are heroes that can defeat all of them with just a single punch. Garou gets even more powerful as he takes on S-class heroes and even high-tier monsters, with Garou being face to face with the king of monsters Orochi, and now it's time to see who really is the strongest monster. Orochi attacks Garou, as Garou is able to react and adapt to Orochi's movements, becoming faster with each passing second, as it's noted that Garou shares a fighting spirit similar to Metal Bat, both capable of literally overcoming death. But Orochi is a monster stated to be as powerful as Boros and can adapt to Garou's fighting style, and has even copied his martial arts, ultimately defeating him. However, the same Monster King, after growing stronger, is eventually one-shot by the One Punch Man. After waking up, Garou finds himself face to face with Dark Shine, completely drained of energy. Dark Shine has the opportunity to finish him off for good, as Dark Shine charges Garou, using his martial arts to block the attack. However, the force still shatters his ribcage. At this moment, it becomes evident that Garou is undergoing a transformation, and when he emerges on the surface, his biology has changed. He's no longer a human, he's a monster. Monster Garou, upon awakening, is so powerful that he defeats Bomb and Silverfang and easily takes down Pure Ugly in a single blow, with Pure Ugly being one who can match Darkshine's strength, who is no match for the new Garou, showcasing just how strong he's become. Garou then engages in a battle with Platinum Flashy Flash, with both fighters moving so fast that their actions occur within fractions of a second, with their speed being measured up to 200 times faster than light. Now Garou faces Giant Centipede and adapts even more quickly and rapidly than he was before, mastering a new technique, the Monster Calamity Godslayer Fist, and with a single strike, he slices Sage Centipede in half, proving to anyone who the strongest truly is. But when the world's hero arrives, Saitama steps onto the battlefield ready to eradicate these monsters, and Garou realizes to achieve his goals, he must defeat Saitama. We later learn about the most mysterious and possibly the strongest character in the entire show, God. The #1 hero Blast has studied God extensively and concludes that God is the creator of all existence, wielding control over all of space and time. Blast has even encountered God face to face, and Garou himself now finds himself in the presence of God, as God uses deception to manipulate mortals by appearing as their most influential person. God offers Garou some of his power, with the only condition that Garou takes his hand, but Garou refuses, slapping God's hand away. But even that slight touch between God and monster produces something, well, when Garou returns to Earth, he's no longer a monster. He's a god, as he gains the knowledge of all the energy in the universe and acquires new astonishing abilities. As a human, Garou can copy everyone's technique, but now he can do much more than that. He demonstrates his new power by copying Blast's space manipulation abilities, as he now can use nuclear fusion and create his own subspace gates, as he defeats all of the heroes, and Saitama arrives on the battlefield just in time to see Garou punch a hole right through Genos' core. That's it. Saitama's done holding back. Holding his friend's core in his hand, Saitama has only one thing on his mind. Serious punch. Saitama attacks Garou with his most powerful punch, but Garou manages to survive by copying Saitama's strength, calling this ability Saitama mode. He winds up his own serious punch, and sensing the immense energy about to be unleashed, Blast uses his subspace gates to contain their clash in space, even requiring the help of others to redirect the attack from Earth. The resulting energy repels Garou and Saitama into space, landing them on the surface of one of Jupiter's moons. But in the opposite direction, their punch creates a giant hole in space, labeled as a serious punch squared, destroying all of the stars within this radius and generating multi-galaxy levels of power. Saitama tells Garou that he's glad he could finally use his full power against someone who can actually stand up. However, Saitama is not excited as he was in his dream because of the death of his friend. Garou uses his abilities against Saitama, but none of them work, He tries using his subspace gates, but Saitama just kicks them away, granting him the ability to have non-physical interactions. Saitama even grabs the surface of the moon and tears it off using a serious table flip. Garou acknowledges that Saitama's strength is limitless and decides to copy him endlessly. However, Garou realizes that for some reason, it's not working. As we see how Saitama's strength works, as it's shown on a graph in comparison to Garou. Saitama has finite jumps in strength, but they just keep going. Saitama grows higher and higher, and so fast that characters that can copy you just by seeing you can't keep up. Saitama's strength grows exponentially, and Garou cannot copy his strength. Saitama once again becomes bored in this fight, as he catches one of Garou's punches, and what happens next is absolutely insane. Saitama sneezes, and the force from his sneeze alone destroys Jupiter. And when Garou sees this, he decides he's had enough and wants to escape, kicking Saitama to the other end of space and using one of his subspace gates to get back to Earth. But Saitama uses a serious Saitama uses a serious fart and moves massively faster than light and catches up to— last time. Saitama uses a serious fart and moves massively faster than light and catches up to Garou. Saitama punches Garou back down to Earth, and when he sees the kid he had a friendship with has died, he decides that he's done. Garou tells Saitama that it's up to him to fix the mistakes and teaches him an ability that he hoped to master if he ever got God's power. However, it was still not enough. But Saitama is a completely different story. Garou shows Saitama how to reverse particles and antiparticles, with Saitama's particles doing the same. God decides to take Garou's power away. Before Garou can die, he tells Saitama if there's anyone that can master the power of God without taking his hand, it's him. With Saitama being launched backwards in time, witnessing all the past events, and when he sees Garou in the past, he decides to do what he does best. He balls up his fist and punches. This punch is the reversal of causality itself, creating an attack not even the One Punch Man can do, ending a fight in 0 punches. But now that it's over, things are about to get interesting. In the recent chapters of One Punch Man, Empty Void, the leader of the ninja village, embraced God's power, resulting in his transformation to a servant of God and a consequential battle with Blast. Despite their fierce and evenly matched struggle, Blast emerged victorious, sealing Empty Void within the ninja village. 50 years later, and after absorbing all of the former powers of Garou to himself, Empty Void has returned, as he confronts Flashy Flash and Speed of Sound Sonic, attempting to sway them to embrace God's power. However, both of them resist the temptation and broke free of his illusions, forcing Empty Void into combat. But now we get to see something that's pretty interesting. Empty Void uses an ability that defies the very causality of the universe, allowing him to perceive all the infinite possibilities and manipulate parallel worlds using this technique. Now, people wanted to know what I thought about this feat, so I'll go into it a little bit. All Empty Void really did was use an ability to jump into another dimension that's outside of the causality of the universe. This wouldn't necessitate that he himself is outside the causality of the universe, just that he can place himself there using this ability. And whenever he does attack one of these orbs, it only does a certain amount of damage to the planet or area that he's attacking. It doesn't even affect the entire infinite space, just that one specific point that he's attacking. And from what we see, the damage isn't even that great once he does attack this. So Saitama currently in One Punch Man would scale from galaxy to multi-galaxy with massively faster than light speed. But with the story of One Punch Man being left in the hands of the fans, how strong truly can Saitama get? In the fan manga Battle of Gods, also called Terra 2, the story unfolds as the ultimate showdown that we've all been waiting for is finally here. The story reveals that the One Punch Man universe is just one galaxy among many dimensions within the multiverse. These dimensions are connected by black holes normally inaccessible to biological beings. However, new entities have appeared seemingly out of nowhere that are capable of traveling through these dimensions whenever they want. These higher dimensional life forms, referred to by all as gods, begin traveling across dimensions, wreaking havoc in multiple galaxies throughout the multiverse. One of these god beings traveled to a dimension and completely destroy it, but one of the survivors was able to escape and makes it to Saitama's Earth. She tells Saitama and the rest of the heroes that these god beings are targeting this dimension next, but this galaxy is completely saved. as it has the One Punch Man defending it. One of these god beings travels throughout the multiverse and ends up in Saitama's universe, and Saitama promises that he will be the one to kill God. Using the dimensional stone that allows biological life forms to travel throughout the stars, they end up in the presence of God. Garou and Genos jump into the fight immediately, using all of their abilities against God, with Genos using his incineration cannon at max power, and Garou using his martial arts, the flowing water smashing rock fist, but none of them do any damage. And just before Genos is about to be hit by a head-on attack from God, he's pushed out of the way by Saitama, who takes the brute force of the attack. Saitama's body slams into the mountain, and he realizes that this is bad. Saitama looks up and sees all of his friends defeated, and realizes that he forgot to save his game before switching off the console. Enraged over his game progress, Saitama punches God thousands of feet into the air, and Saitama jumps up to finish off the combo. God opens up his face and charges up an energy blast to fire at Saitama, and as God blast shoots down point blank at Saitama's face, Saitama clenches his fist and pulls out a killer move. Serious punch. Both attacks connect, and Saitama was able to cancel out the blast, sending a shockwave throughout the entire world. But then God hits Saitama so hard that he almost reaches the core of the earth, and Saitama's single punch left his body mangled, that even God has to admit that Saitama's a powerful life form. At the bottom of the earth, Saitama smiles, knowing that his dream has finally come true at last. God explains that not even fourth dimensional beings can defeat him, and across the multiverse there are other gods of even higher dimension with power that cannot be comprehended. God seemingly referencing an even more powerful being, as he says for him, "You are all mere dust." God goes on to explain that the destruction of third-dimensional creatures is quite simple. Only one method is required to decompose all organic matter. This method is the disintegration into one-dimensional matter, as commanded by the gods themselves, their own twisted judgment. And with the wave of his hand, every single being on planet Earth began to disintegrate away. At the end of the battle, Garou and every living being in the entire galaxy was erased by God. However, arising from the earth is this galaxy's last stand. Saitama has come back to fulfill his promise to kill God. Saitama launches himself into the air and gets right in God's face. With everyone else in the entire galaxy gone, he doesn't have to hold back. Now he gets to show God why he put limits on mortals in the first place. Serious punch. Saitama punches God so hard in the face that the entire planet shakes. Grabbing God's head and sliding his face across the entire continent, Saitama uses even more strength as he picks up God's head and throws him across the entire solar system. God's body slams into a planet, and as God gets up from the rubble, he begins drawing in countless minerals from the atmosphere, putting an entire layer of armor around his body to protect himself from Saitama's punches. God sends Saitama to a fourth-dimensional space-time array, where time will revert continuously, with Saitama's body reverting back to how it was before his training. However, Saitama realizes that the key to getting out of this was speed. Saitama began to run, running faster and faster until he was eventually able to surpass the speed of light and break out of the fourth-dimensional time array. When Saitama breaks out, he uses consecutive normal punches and eviscerates God's entire body yet again. Now this god knows that he's going to die. Saitama winds up his last punch. It's over. When Saitama's punch connects, every planet, star, galaxy, and even the entire universe gets completely wiped away, and Saitama stands alone as the man who defeated a god.
Terra 3 Saitama. In Terra 2, God mentioned the existence of beings far greater than himself, and we witnessed how that battle ended. However, God was right. There are indeed higher powers as seen in another universe when Garou gained strength from a being far superior to the Terra 2 god. And now, we get to see if Saitama truly is the strongest. In the fan manga Terra 3, Garou receives power from God and returns to Earth as the most powerful being in the universe, Cosmic Garou, and faces off against Saitama, the strongest being period. In this new form, Garou perceives the very structure of the universe itself as being in his hands. With the mysteries of heaven and earth being unraveled before him, he immediately attacks Saitama with a supernova punch, but unlike his manga counterpart, who only used a small gamma ray burst, this punch, when focused into a single point, causes every cell in the target's body to explode. The resulting explosion creates a Laniakea supercluster, which is the galaxy cluster that includes the Milky Way and around 100,000 other galaxies. It's no wonder that this move is called Immense Heaven. But Saitama merely punches Garou back, unaffected by the attack, which was nothing more than a flashlight in his eyes. And then it's revealed that the #1 hero blast was able to erase the destructive force of Saitama's punch as if it never existed, as that punch has distorted the very fabric of the universe, and the only ones who remember are Garou and Saitama, meaning no one else in the entire universe even knew that they had all just died. Garou laments that not even the brightest explosion in the universe could close the gap in strength between them, so then he makes a decision. If relying solely on the power within the universe isn't enough to defeat Saitama, then he'll use the universe itself. Stepping back, and it's revealed that the universe is much larger than anyone could have ever imagined, with even concepts like infinity struggling to fully grasp its vastness, as models like the von Neumann universe only cover a small fraction of its size. The von Neumann universe model suggests that the universe is built on sets organized hierarchically, each layer containing the subsets of all previous ones, ultimately forming a comprehensive universe of sets. To simplify, imagine starting with an empty shelf and gradually adding a collection of books. Each new stage includes all possible ways to organize the previous collections. Eventually you have a vast library representing the von Neumann universe. And yet, this is only a fraction of the Terra 3 universe. The story even mentions concepts like absolute infinity and inaccessible cardinals, which get lost in the immensity of the universe, all which Garou channels into his fist for one cosmic cataclysmic strike. Garou lands a punch on Saitama's head, blowing a chunk off and believing he overestimated his opponent, until Saitama's fist is suddenly in his stomach, sending him flying. Garou can't believe that Saitama is still alive, having erased all concept of time and space near the surrounding. But Saitama casually peels off the erased concept from his head, and he's back to normal. What? Garou then attempts to reverse Saitama's body into 2 dimensions, then 1, and then finally 0 dimensions. The entire universe is cut into endless lines, each larger than the universe itself, composed of an infinite number of points. These lines start stacking in a hierarchy, forming his dimensional blow, but Saitama cuts through the 0 dimensions all the way back to the 3rd, delivering a punch back into Garou's face. Desperate, Garou decides the only way to win is to alter Saitama's settings like a video game, but when he looks at his settings, all he sees is invincible. Garou can't believe a human being could be this strong, and then tries to erase the concept of humanity out of existence. But Saitama just grabs Garou's speech bubble, erases his words, and replacing them with saying, "I won't erase the concept of humanity from existence." Realizing he has no hope of winning, Garou creates a reality where Saitama is a famous hero, wealthy, and everything is perfect. But Saitama refuses, punching Garou through the screen, through where the reader is viewing, saying that none of it matters because he's not a hero for rewards, he's a hero for fun. In the end, Terra 3 Saitama would scale to high out reversal with irrelevant speed. In the end, Saitama's come a long way from being an ordinary human who wanted to become stronger, and now whose punches are defeating gods themselves. This means that if we want to surpass our limiters, what we have to do is lock in for 3 years and have a really nice right hook. What's going on, guys? This is Kazi. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and if you guys did, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you guys never miss an upload. And if you guys want a video just like this, my Cash App will be in the description for you to get your own video. And tell me down below, who do you think can defeat Comp Saitama? Make sure you guys join the Discord and follow me on TikTok. We're trying to reach 200K, and that'd be greatly appreciated. Anyway, that's it. Love you guys. See ya.